Good morning, all. I am Alisha Juneja of Jayanara and Vyas University, Jodhpur, Rajasthan, from India, and I will be presenting my paper, Highly Sensitive Person, Wisdom Levels and Narcissistic Tendencies. I'll just start the presentation. So, in order to understand what the research is about, the first thing we have to do is to know who a highly sensitive person is or who these people are. We'll start with a very, very small but important story. So, anyone who knows about psychology research, personality research, or anyone who's a psychologist or a researcher knows that among many theories, the most common one for personality is introversion and extroversion. Basically, a person who's sociable, a person who's outgoing is termed extroverted, and a person who's shy, timid, or a person who's not so sociable is termed as introvert. Now, there are many theories, but this is a theory that is known among laymen as well. So, a lot of people, myself included, feel that this is not a one shoe fits all kind of situation. People have different kinds of quirks and habits and intricacies, and division of people on the basis of very few categories is not really right. So there was this woman, her name is Elaine, and she went through a very normal surgery, a very normal procedure, and after that, she found herself bedridden for months. Now, this was a very routine procedure, and people generally move about very quickly, but her doctor said that she needed to seek therapy for her overreaction to this very small, very normal procedure, and she was really upset about it because for her, her body was betraying her. And when she went to the therapist, told her everything, the therapist told her, but of course you had this reaction because you're a highly sensitive person. Elaine found this word very intriguing because she had never heard this word before. And when she asked about it, the therapist told her multiple types of people come to seek therapy, but some of them are highly sensitive, meaning they feel, sense everything more than people who are not so sensitive. And equipped with this knowledge, Elaine went to research books and journals to find the mention of this word in literature, but she couldn't. She didn't find anything that was satisfactory anyway. So she decided she was going to do something about it, and then she put out a pamphlet in the university at the university where she worked, and asking people who considered themselves highly sensitive to show up. A lot of people showed up, more than number of people she expected. Some of them were really sad because the entire life they have spent, they felt like misfits, they were misunderstood. People told them they were too sensitive. And then there were other people who were extremely happy and successful because this sensitivity was commended, it was coveted, and people treated them well because of their sensitivity, different in cultures. So, after these interviews, Elaine found that there was indeed a group of people who were highly sensitive or even more sensitive than the rest of the population. And this particular interview spawned 7 studies, which culminated into the concept of highly sensitive person and the scale which we will be using in this research. It's known as the highly sensitive person scale, which is used to determine if a person is highly sensitive or not. Let us move on. How do we define high sensitivity? We can say that it is not, just let me adjust this for a moment. Yes. This is the definition Dr. Aron has given. It is not a difference in sense organs per se, but in the way that information is processed. So, people of psychology know what broadband filter model is, but if there's anyone from not of the psychology group, I'll explain in a very brief manner. Imagine you're at an airport, and then there are people who are chatting away. There are suitcases, luggages being moved. There are carts, there are travelators, there are escalators, there are maybe announcements, other announcements, advertisements. And among all this commotion, you hear your gate number or your name being called. How do you do that? Broadband suggested that there is a filter in your brain which filters all the information that is in the environment and gives you one or two or three where you can pay attention. Now, Dr. Allen says that highly sensitive people have a different way of processing information. Imagine a normal person or a low sensitive person or LSP will process 2 3 stimuli at a time. For a highly sensitive person, it is 12 to 14. You can just imagine how overwhelmed these sensitive people will be. There's a very short acronym that Dr. Aaron has given to understand if a person is highly sensitive. It's called DOES, DOES. D is depth of processing. Because highly sensitive people process a lot of information in a lot of time, it is called as depth of processing. This is something that is unique to highly sensitive people. O is overstimulation, because they, again, filtration, 12 to 14 things, they get overstimulated, they get overwhelmed. E is empathy. They are highly, because the information is processed a lot, they can actually understand what the other person is going through. They catch things more, they sense, or they read people more. And then is subtleties. S for subtleties is stimulation to subtleties, or extra sensitivity to subtleties. They notice small things, small differences. So all of these 4 points are in a way interlinked, and this is how we find out if a person is highly sensitive. I've written down some of the characteristics through research of Dr. Aron, multiple of the characteristics through the years, and I'll read a few out for you. The positive characteristics of a highly sensitive person is they're highly empathetic, as we have seen. They're highly vigilant. They avoid making errors. They have a sense of intuition. They are good readers of body language. They have high focus. They are able to learn things quickly, and they tend to think about things a lot. So they are not really aware of long-term memory. Their thinking enables them to learn things by heart, things that normal people forget. They have a lot of long-term memory, which they can remember for a long time. And they are very good at tasks involving high vigilance, speed, and detection of minor differences, and they are very close to animals and nature. The negative would be they perform poorly when observed, because they notice small things, they notice small faults in every relationship, and hence start questioning everything. Because they are highly stimulated, they are sensitive to crowded places. They're sensitive to medicines, additives, caffeine and nicotine, to pain, to intense smells and coarse fabrics. So all of this are the negative points. And because they tend to think a lot, and then when a person keeps on thinking, they tend to go to the normal or the negative way. And because of that, they keep on thinking, and they think about life and all the negative things, and that makes them appear unhappy. Why is this topic important, or why are highly sensitive people of note, why we should think about them? Now, first thing is, in a lot of cultures, high sensitivity or even sensitivity is considered to be a weakness. A person who is sensitive and the rest is told to toughen up, to man up, and that really is a problem for a lot of cultures. Let us assume that sensitivity is a weakness. We will start with this argument. Sensitivity is a weakness. First thing, by law of nature, if anyone has read Darwin or knows natural selection, survival of the fittest, nature rarely creates something that is not of use. Nature is rarely wasteful. So nature will never create something that is not going to be used, or that is going to be of no use later, or will probably, if nature has created something that is of no use, it will be eliminated. Survival of the fittest. First thing is, high sensitivity has been studied for a long time under different names. Names I've written: low sensitive threshold, inhibitedness, affective negativity, many more names. But it has been studied for a long time. It means it has been around for a long time. Hence, it is not eliminated, and it is not a weakness. And another thing which will prove it is not a weakness, there was a study by Wolf et al. In 2008 to find out if sensitivity will be eliminated, thus naming it a weakness. They ran a simulation wherein they varied one variable at a time to find out if where sensitivity is going evolution wise. They found two things. First is sensitivity is not going anywhere. Hence, it is not a weakness, it has a use. Second, only minority will remain sensitive. I mean, obviously, if all of the population was sensitive, no one will be. Exactly. So only minority of a group will remain sensitive, and the majority will not. The reason behind this is, and this is Dr. Aron's, or Elaine, the person who is responsible for the research of highly sensitive persons. She gave this example of kings and ministers. Now, kings are the one ruling the country or whatever state. Ministers are the people who advise them on how to run things. In that way, you can see how ministers are important. Ministers need a king to put their ideas into action so they can, make a battle plan or strategize for the future. Neither can do without the other. So you have your day, you have your night. Without the day or without the night, there is no point for the other. So kings need ministers to advise them, and ministers need kings to put their plan into action. So that is where high sensitive people or HSPs and low sensitive people or LSPs come into play. Kings are your LSPs and ministers are your HSPs, and they have to remain in minority and they have to be present. Ergo, if a person is sensitive, it is by design. It is by nature's design, and it is absolutely essential for the survivor. A person who is sensitive will always wait and see how to react. Imagine there's a herd of animals, and there's a, let's say, new form of prey that they're after. Highly sensitive person, highly sensitive organism will pause, wait, see if that animal is worthy to be eaten or if it's not poisonous. And in a situation where you have to fight or flight, that is where low sensitive people come in, because they are the people who are the action people, right? So for survival, you need both people who act quickly and people who wait and see. So if either of the party does not survive, the other does. So there are two sides of the same coin. Very important for survival. I will continue this in the next video.